Okay, this is a tech video of how to turn everything on in the office. So you need to turn on that power strip. The rack is plugged in there, and there's that switch right there that you need to turn on. That turns on the rack. You can see everything powering up. And once you have that, then you want to turn on the board. And it's important that you turn on the board before the speaker. And the board will start powering up. And once we have the board on, we're going to move over to the speaker, turn this on, and okay. So that's good for the audio side. Now next, we're going to work on video. So we're going to turn on the cameras. Well, actually first we're going to turn on the power strip that powers the cameras. So I'm going to turn that on, and also this. The one thing to remember is that the cameras and the video switcher are all on the battery backup in case of a power shortage or a power spike. So you want to go over to the battery backup right here, and you'll see there's a couple buttons. So you want to press the one that says on, mute. That's going to turn the battery backup on, and it's going to beep. You have to hold it for 3 seconds. And you'll see it starts to show that there's 120 volts being outputted at the top right here. That's your output. To turn it off, obviously it's right there on the right, but we'll get to that once we start going through the turn off procedure. So once we got that on, we want to make sure the TVs and the cameras are turning on. So that camera's turned on, this camera's turned on, and looks like we've got power to the TVs and we've got the video switcher on. So make sure these are turned on. So there's a power switch right there, and power right there. And we should see both the camera inputs and our output. You can find the how to plug in the Lyrics computer on another video. Okay, next, once we've got all the HDMI inputs on, that'd be the camera, the video switcher, TVs, all that, we're going to turn on Resi. So Resi is our encoder, which we stream from. So that's the power button right here. You press power, hold for a couple seconds, and blue light should come on. Eventually it'll beep and you'll know it's ready. So that's powering on. Next is all the stage stuff. So that's the power strip right here. Turn that on, and now power on the lights and the piano and all that. So once we've got that on, we want to go over to this side. Normally we'll set up this farther forward, but since this isn't a real setup, I'm just going to show you. We plug in the light back here, and I'm also going to show you how to use the light. So plug in the light, and see we've got kind of a bright whitish light that says U255. So there's a couple different settings you want it on. So you probably don't want it on a setting where it's going to change colors every 5 seconds. Those are the first few in the menu. So if you click menu, you get to F, and to D, and to P, and to L, and to E, and to sound, and then you get to R. So the next following ones are stable, so they will not change colors if you switch between them. So this is your R, your red fader. So you can take that up, and it'll make things more red. So it goes all the way to 255. And then once it gets all the way past 255 and goes back down, it'll get blue. So next you have your green fader. So that controls how much green is in the mix. So you'll see it start to get green all the way until it switches back to 1 again. So next we have our blue fader. That changes how blue it is. And once you got it pretty blue, go to menu, and this last fader, the one that's U, is our white fader. So we can either put that up or down. See, since we still have a lot of blue in the mix, once we take out the white, it's going to look really blue. So you guys can play around with the colors like that. One note is that you have to press enter in order to keep that color if you unplug the light. So you'll see if I unplug the light now, it's going to go back to the color it was before when we started. So I'm going to plug it back in, and you can see it's back to being a whitish purple color. So that takes care of just about everything. Now for reverse order, for when you're closing out the service, you want to go ahead and turn off the lights. And we'll go ahead and turn off the piano and all the stage stuff. Once we got that off, and normally after a service, Sam will stop the encoder. You have to make sure the encoder is stopped before you power off Resi. But you power off Resi, so you hold the button, and you let go, and it should turn off. And it may take some time, because it doesn't power off immediately. Next, once that powers off, you're going to want to go over to the cameras. You'll turn off the cameras. And the TVs are back here on these two power strips. So you can turn that off, turn that off. And we go back here to the battery backup. We can turn off the battery backup. So remember, you just hold the button for 3 seconds. It should beep until it turns off. Once it stops beeping, that means it's off. And you'll also see on here that it says 0 for the mounted voltage. That's the output voltage, and that means it's off. So once we've got that, we want to turn off the speaker. Power switch is right there. And for the board, you want this to be the last thing you turn off, because otherwise it causes a loud pop when you go to if you turn off the board before the speakers, and that can damage the speakers. So you want to go over to Setup, which is right here. Sorry about the lighting. So Setup button. Okay, and that takes you to this screen. And you'll see down at the bottom left, there is a thing that says Shutdown and something that says Go. So you want to go and click on this knob right here. So press down, and it will tell you you can safely switch off the console. And that just basically stops the computer that's inside the board from writing any new memory, so that it doesn't end up making the board wig out. So you can go ahead and switch off the board. And once you got that off, we want to go ahead and turn off the rack. And the rack is plugged into the power conditioner that's here. That prevents it from having spikes or shorts or anything like that. Just keeps the power clean so you don't have any problems. So, and the last thing is this power strip. And you are done.